Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief keeps you informed about what's happening in Annapolis, Anne Arundel County, and Maryland. Local news, local sports, local events, local opinion, and, of course, local weather. Your Eye on Annapolis daily news brief starts now.
Good morning. It's Thursday, May 7th, 2026. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief presented by Annapolis Subaru, Covington, Alsina, and the SPCA of Anne Arundel County. Despite being a slug yesterday afternoon after my liquid lunch at Chessie's Wharf, I am pretty impressed with myself, and I kicked some butt today. And before we get into it, I want to thank Roy Adler. I don't know who he is, but he took the time to email me to thank me for what we do at Eye on Annapolis. It's always nice to hear, and a big thank you to Roy. You made my evening last night. As for today's Boomer Trivia, what pop diva played the role of Dorothy in The Wiz in the 1978 film adaptation of the African-American version of The Wizard of Oz? Now, I know this answer, but I'm going to give some multiple choice here. Donna Summer, Diana Ross, Whitney Houston, or Patti LaBelle? Hang tight, we're going to have that answer for you in a few minutes, but right now we have some news, so let's get into it, shall we? The Annapolis Mall has another new owner, with Macerich acquiring the regional shopping center for $260 million, plus the adjacent former Sears parcel for another $12 million. The deal gives Macerich control of roughly 1.5 million square feet at one of Anne Arundel County's most visible retail properties, though it does not include the Macy's anchor or the vacant JCPenney anchor, which is still being marketed for a new tenant. The company says that several new stores and restaurants are already in the pipeline for 26 and 27, including Dick's House of Sport, Dave & Buster's, Tesla, Uniqlo, Aerie Offline, Abercrombie, Pop Mart, Jack & Jones, and others. Now, Dick's House of Sport is expected to open a 116,000 square foot store in August of this year. Macerich also plans to invest about $40 million in leasing capital as it works to reposition the mall and boost occupancy. The former Sears parcel, sitting on 13.1 acres at that heavily traveled corner of the property, could eventually be used for retail, mixed use, or some other type of development. So yes, the mall is changing hands once again, and this time the new owner appears to be bringing a checkbook and a fairly long shopping list. A major downtown Annapolis property has also changed hands. The mixed-use building at 18 Church Circle sold for $7.2 million, with Aqua Al Duo remaining in place. The sale settled on April 30th with Jamal Margaret Steele's 1723 LLC, which is affiliated with Douglas Development Corporation, selling the property to another LLC, 18 Church Circle LLC. Now, the building sits on one of the most recognizable parts of downtown Annapolis at the top of Main Street, near restaurants, retail, government offices, and waterfront attractions. Now, Aqua Al Duo will continue to operate under its current ownership and management, and the restaurant has about 11 more years remaining in its lease. Hyatt Commercial represented the buyer, while SRS Real Estate Partners represented the seller. The sale does reflect continued demand for downtown Annapolis real estate, particularly properties with established tenants and long-term leases. In other words, if you were worried that your next plate of pasta on Church Circle was in jeopardy, you can breathe easy. The building has a new owner, but the restaurant is staying put. Caliente Grill in Annapolis will host a one-night-only regional Mexican pairing dinner on Saturday at 6:30, bringing together Mexican cuisine, tequila, mezcal, and a very personal family connection. The dinner, titled From Hacienda to Table, a regional Mexican pairing dinner, will feature guest chef Edwin Pena, the son of Caliente Grill owner Roxana Rodriguez. Pena is curating a 4-course menu paired with tequila and mezcal selections throughout the evening. The dinner is being shaped in part by Roxana and Raul Rodriguez's upcoming return from Hacienda Patron, which will help inspire the food, drinks, and overall feel of the night. The theme is rooted, inspired, shared. And the dinner is meant to be more than an intimate gathering centered on food, culture, and connection. Seating is limited, with tickets priced at $97 for Tequila Club members and $117 for non-members. Reservations and details are available by calling 410-626-1444 or visiting CalienteGrillAnnapolis.com. And honestly, a 4-course dinner with tequila and mezcal pairing sounds like just the sort of research assignment plenty of people should be willing to take on. In our last story of the day, Kaylee is a shelter dog from the SPCA of Anne Arundel County, and she is competing for national recognition in the 15th annual Wall Dirty Dogs contest, and local votes could help bring prize money back to the SPCA and the groomer who helped transform her life. Now, Kaylee is one of 3 finalists in the contest, which highlights shelter dogs whose grooming transformations helped give them a second chance. Before arriving at the SPCA in Annapolis, Kaylee had been surrendered by her family, the only family she had ever known, and hadn't been groomed in 4 years. Her small body was covered in painful matting so tight that she could barely open her mouth to eat. Volunteer and groomer extraordinaire Patrice McCarran spent hours carefully removing the mats and giving Kaylee the care she needed. Kaylee has since been adopted and is now living her best life with a family that does cherish her. Voting is open through the end of May on TikTok. Now, to vote, you want to visit Wall Pets or Wall Animal TikTok pages and comment with the hashtag Wall Dirty Dogs Contest on Kaylee's video. And Wall is spelled W-A-H-L in all of those. That's the hair clipper, people. There is no limit to the number of comments a person can leave, so this is one of those rare times when repeatedly commenting online is not only acceptable, but it is encouraged. And the prizes are not too shabby. First place brings $5,000 to the shelter and $5,000 to the groomer. Second place brings $2,000 each, and third place brings $1,000 each. A win would support the SPCA's adoption work and recognize the kind of care that turns a neglected dog story into a happy ending. In closing, one of the best ways to stay up to date on the local news is to receive our daily news recap email that is sent out at 7 p.m. every single day. It is free, it is paywall free, and I have a link right here in the show notes for you to sign up. And please feel free to let your friends, family, and colleagues all know about it as well. All right, that is a wrap. As always, thank you for being you, and a thank you to the sponsors for today's Daily News Brief. Annapolis Subaru, Covington Alsina, the SPCA of Anne Arundel County, Hospice of the Chesapeake, Third Eye Comics, and Mac Medics. As for trivia, that would have been Ms. Diana Ross. And the wizard was played by none other than the king of pop, Michael Jackson. All right, so now you just need to sit back because George Young is here with your Eye on Annapolis local weather. We have another great chat with the folks at Interim Healthcare of Annapolis. And of course, Trevor from Annapolis Makerspace is here with your Makerspace Maker Minutes. All that's coming your way, so hang tight.
Get ready to hit the sand. Tickets are on sale now for the Chesapeake Bay Foundation's 20th annual Bands in the Sand. Join us June 13th at the CBF Philip Merrill Environmental Center in Annapolis for an unforgettable night featuring alternative rock legends Vertical Horizon. He's everything you want. He's everything you need. Swamp Donkey and Misfit Youth will round out the music with performances sure to keep you dancing all evening. Dance on the beach, enjoy all-inclusive food and drinks, and celebrate the Bay. Snag your tickets at cbf.org/bandsinthesand before they sell out. Again, that's cbf.org/bandsinthesand. This is the party of the year. Don't miss it. Next up, we're diving into today's Eye on Annapolis weather forecast. From sunny skies over the Bay to storm warnings that could impact your plans, we've got the details to keep you ahead of the curve. Stay tuned. It's all coming your way in just a moment.
Hey everyone, this is George Young with your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief weather forecast for Thursday, May 7th. Cooler temps today with a little bit of additional rain possible for the Annapolis region, but Mother's Day Sunday is looking amazing. Expect clouds today with maybe some mostly AM rain with highs in the low to mid 60s with sun and 70 degrees returning tomorrow ahead of mixed skies and a chance for additional showers Saturday with afternoon highs in the low to mid 70s. As for Mother's Day Sunday, the expectation is for mostly sunny skies and warmer temps with highs in the upper 70s to maybe lower even mid 80s in spots with more showers than possible late Sunday night. And Monday with highs Monday around 70 degrees with Tuesday bringing a return of sunshine and again temps near 70 for afternoon highs. Okay, that's it for today. This is George Young for Eye on Annapolis Weather. Make it a great day out there today. Stay healthy and be safe. And be sure to visit eyeonannapolis.net/weather for the latest conditions and forecast information for the Annapolis region so you can always stay weather informed.
Have you ever thought, I think I'm okay, but you just want to know for sure? Covington Alsina is right here in Annapolis, helping women put a clear plan around their money, their goals, and their life. For over a decade, they've helped women turn uncertainty into clarity with practical guidance built around real life. Whether you're making a career move, planning for retirement, managing investments, or sorting through tax and estate planning, Covington Alsina helps you get organized and move forward with confidence. And if you'd like to learn before you leave, Covington Alsina hosts monthly educational events, virtual and in person. Learn more at covingtonalsina.com and click events, or call the Annapolis office at 410-457-7165. covingtonalsina.com. At the intersection of women and wealth. Advisory services offered through Covington Alsina, a registered investment advisor. Investing involves the risk of loss and unless otherwise stated is not guaranteed.
For many of us, there comes a time when a little help means a lot. Interim Healthcare of Annapolis is always there when you need care. Let's continue the conversation on aging well with support to help seniors stay safe, comfortable, and independent.
We talked about as parents age, that eventually we'll age to a point where perhaps in-home healthcare is not the right solution. And Lori, you alluded to that the other week when we were talking about that, they may transition into hospice or into a, more institutionalized nursing home type of a care. When is interim healthcare maybe not the answer?
Yeah, great question. And what I would say is like when home care doesn't work, it would be when, because technically home care is non-medical. Activities of daily living, the reason they're not covered by most insurance companies is just because it's considered non-medical. So I always say when the medical issues get to the point you can no longer live independent, that's when you might want to start looking at other options. Now, if you have the budget where you can afford 24-hour care, you can afford to have a caregiver that is with you day in and day out, then you can still live at home. A lot of people don't have that budget. They don't have that capability. So that's when you need to look at other living arrangements. And we have advised our families and our clients that when it gets to the point where living at home becomes unsafe, that's ultimately the way we look at it. It's a safety issue. So that's where we just have to really work together with our families and have an honest conversation and say, is mom, is dad truly safe at the home when they're alone?
Safety above all else.
Yes.
I think kind of going back what Art said about the safety part, it's a tough conversation, right? We've been taking care of the patient for a couple of years and we've started to see them decline, whether it's decline in their psychological, part or their physical, right? Where their mobility has now changed and they're no longer getting up. And because they're not getting up as much, or they have to stay in bed all the time. And then we notice that they're maybe not eating as well. And then all that kind of turns into a medical issue. Maybe they might have like a pressure ulcer that may develop, or they're not getting that nutritional, they're not taking in because maybe their disease process is progressing. So maybe they came to us with end-stage renal disease, or they came with, Parkinson's or a memory deficit that they're not remembering to eat when they're by themselves. And so that turns into more of a medical issue. And then that's where the medical portion kind of comes into play, that we really can't provide that care. They need 24 hours of like nursing staffing.
Well, it seems that interim healthcare is really, and I don't want to minimize it, but it's sort of a soup to nuts type of a thing as somebody becomes needy for some kind of health care.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could turn around and maybe I'm coming out of a rehab with a broken knee or a broken leg or something like that. And I'm now able to be at home, but we need you to check in every other day just to make sure. And that's perfectly fine for something that we would call interim healthcare for. As I age, different things may come up that you're there for, whether it be, 8 hours a day, whether it's, 24/7. Unfortunately, when we get to the end of life, I mean, you're there working hand in hand, side by side with hospice.
We can bring in skilled nursing. We can bring in hospice. We have a lot of different partners in the community so that just because if someone does need a skill, they still need our aids. They still need home care. We just bring in a skilled nursing company that can assist with the wound care, right, or that can assist with the physical therapy. Because often people will get that done at home too. They'll get physical therapy at home and occupational therapy at home. And often Lori or one of our nurses they're the ones that actually notice that and they get that going. And they'll say, hey, call your doctor and get a referral, because that's really what starts skilled care is you need a doctor's referral. And we're often the ones that will notify
that will trigger that. I didn't think about that. And you guys are obviously in a position where you're able to say, hey, we've got a great occupational therapist that can come in here, or a great physical therapist that can come in and work with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's outside of an interim, but we work so closely with other organizations in our community that where we will basically hand off, we'll get them in touch together. And then it's seamless process where they get the doctor's referral. And then before we know it, skilled care is now in the home helping our patient.
As an aging person, as a person with aging parents, that would be, again, a big comfort to me to know that somebody that I consider my family, my caregiver that has been coming in here, has recommended a specific physical therapist or a specific therapy company, as opposed to going to whatever healthcare.com and looking, for some, searching by zip code.
I think referral partners, right, are so important, right? Because you're collaborating in the care, of the patient, so we can ultimately keep our patient at home. So whether you go in and maybe somebody just recently came out of the hospital and they didn't go to rehab, but they had a change in medical status, right? Maybe they're not getting around as well now and they're using a walker. And, we notice that they're definitely going slower. And maybe that's the time where we say, hey, it looks like you could probably use some physical therapy, and let's collaborate, whether we have the family member call the physician to get that order, or for one of us, or we call one of our referral partners to come in. And it's the same way with hospice. We come in and sometimes, Jaden has seen one of our patients decline, right, over time. We may have been taking care of for the last 6 months, and all of a sudden she's declining in multiple ways. And she brings that to the attention of one of us. And then we reach out to one of our referral partners with palliative care or hospice. And next thing you know, we've helped everyone, right? We've helped not just ourselves, but most importantly, we've helped the patient because they ultimately need it, and or their family members.
I think one more time, I'd like to see if I can get in touch with Jaden again, because she's on the front lines for you guys for Interim Healthcare. I know that we can sing her praises and the praises of the caregivers that work for Interim Healthcare till the cows come home. I wonder what she hears from some of the families. And so we'll chat with her and see what we come up with.
All right. Sounds good.
There are more than 500 pets in the care of the SPCA of Anne Arundel County that need good homes, and they have so much to offer the rest of us. At Annapolis Subaru, we are committed to helping the SPCA see that these animals stay safe and healthy. All year long, Annapolis Subaru partners with the SPCA to host pet adoption events, sponsor vaccination clinics, and community events. We feature pets on our weekly Canines and Crosstreks podcast. Our associates and our Subaru customers show up in packs at the Walk for the Animals and Lights on the Bay events. You can help our SPCA find loving homes for these pets. Volunteer, donate, foster, read a book, scratch some ears, or rub some bellies. Show up for the pets in the care of the SPCA of Anne Arundel County.
Every week, makers, crafters, and educators hold events all over the area. Highlighting some of those, here's our Maker Minutes, brought to you by Annapolis Makerspace.
Hey, this is Trevor from Annapolis Makerspace with this week's Maker Minutes. At Cottonwood and Severna Park, today they have a beginner sewing class. Tomorrow they have garment making with chanterelle pants and shorts. Saturday they have a beginner quilt making class. And Wednesday they have the Goodness Bowl, an introduction to English paper piercing. At the Resin Room off of West Street, just in time for Mother's Day, they have a Kids Making Mother's Day Gifts workshop. For kids ages 5 through 12, book a 30-minute spot and drop in to make either a wooden flower coaster or an 8x10 glass art piece with different shapes and designs to choose from. Also check out their Wind Down Wednesdays on the second Wednesday of each month. And of course they have opportunities to book time to create your own fantastic wood or glass art, using resin of course. At Chesapeake Lightcraft in Annapolis, all next week, Monday through Saturday, they have a Build Your Own Scary Day Sailor workshop. At Knits and Pieces off of Bestgate Road, today there's the Perfect Pair 2 at a Time socks. Saturday there's First Sweater, Cozy Knit Designs Easy Street Tee. And Sunday there's Beginner Garments, knitting a sleeveless summer top. Then on Monday, there's a comprehensive Learn to Crochet class. At the Willow Oak Flower and Herb Farm in Severn, Saturday, check out their Mother's Day workshop, making a perfect Mother's Day planter with mini roses, fragrant annuals, and herbs, while enjoying complimentary tea and cookies. At Art Farm in Annapolis, tonight check out their Creative Circle monthly meetup, where you can work on your own projects or follow the prompts and materials supplied by Kate. Also tonight, check out Podcasting 101 for adults. Saturday, there's double exposure intermediate photography, and Sunday, there's yoga in the gallery. And registration is open for more adult workshops, including ones involving pour painting and others. And for Art Farm's Kids Art Camps, there's a Kids Art School for ages 4 through 5 on Monday. There's a Kids Art School for grades 1 through 3, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. There's a Kids Art School for grades 4 through 6, Tuesday and Wednesday. There's hand-drawn comics for grades 3 through 5 tonight and Wednesday. Saturday, there's fiber arts and mixed media for grades 4 through 6. Tuesday, there's graphic design for ages 9 through 12. And Wednesday, there's drawing and painting for grades 4 through 6. And there's more Kids Art Camps coming up soon, involving graphic design, digital drawing, collage, jewelry, and more. At the Anne Arundel County Public Library System this week, today Broadneck has Teen Art Blast, and Severn has Drawing Travel Sketchbooks. Tomorrow, Odenton has Make and Mingle, and Discoveries, the library at the mall, has a pre-K art party. Saturday, Eastport Annapolis Neck has Build It with Lego. Crofton has Ask a Master Gardener. Deal has Native Plants and Puzzle Swap. Maryland City has Science Saturdays, with 1001 Worms Eat My Garbage. Discoveries has Build a Gnome or Fairy Home. Severna Park has a community service crafternoon, making decorations for the library for the annual Summer at Your Library program. Odenton has Do-It-Yourself Paper Flowers for Shavuot, and Glen Burnie has Mental Health Journaling Crafternoon. On Monday, Odenton has Friends and Fiber Arts, and Bush Annapolis has Makerspace training with their Sprocket photo printer. On Tuesday, Glen Burnie has Little Engineers Constructive Play. Rivera Beach has Fiber Art Fun with mini plant pot hangers, and Severna Park has Stitching in the Stacks, both an afternoon and an evening edition. On Wednesday, Bush Annapolis has a Nature Explorers Club. Eastport Annapolis Neck has a cookbook club with Asian foods for Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And Mountain Road has Sashiko Embroidery. At Unallocated Space in Millersville, tonight they have a virtual happy hour. Tomorrow they have a DEF CON 443 cybersecurity meetup. Monday they have a project night. Tuesday they have queers and beers and other tasty drinks. An all-inclusive open house with tasty beverages. Wednesday they have a Locksport night with Maryland Tool, as well as their weekly open house. If you have any questions about the Annapolis Makerspace, the Maker Minutes, or any of these events, feel free to contact me at trevor@makeannapolis.org. And you can find links to all these events at the Annapolis Makerspace website, also at makeannapolis.org. And whether you're making art, software, sawdust, or just a mess, chances are you're already a maker. This has been Trevor from Annapolis Makerspace with this week's Maker Minutes.
You've been listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Tell your friends and colleagues, this is the podcast where you can keep up on the latest with what's going on in Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. And don't forget about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find even more information. And make sure you follow us on Facebook at All Annapolis and on Twitter at Eye on Annapolis. This Daily News Brief podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m.